Hey, Augusta, so good to see you again.
Same
Wait,
here. How you doing?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad at
So
all.
you look good. You look good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you
So,
very much. You're wearing my favorite colors, by the way.
thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah.
So, green signifies renewal, restoration, and all the beautiful things. So, I
Yes,
guess
it
I'm tapping on that energy.
yeah, it's a very calming color. It's a very
Yeah,
calming color for
yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
remember when we met some time ago, it was such a festive affair. It was
Hmm.
really amazing to meet you
Yeah.
in the motherland and
Right.
connecting also with your husband who was in ed tech.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
our connection continued because we had so much in
In
common.
common. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So today we are going to be talking about something that we've prepared for a really long time, and it's important that we show the world and we tell the world about something that is not very common, something that people do not really talk about. Shining a light on something like that. It's important for people to know that they are not alone, especially in their struggle.
Yes, yes. And I think that's a great way to even start this channel with
Hmm.
having a space for conversation about this topic. And
Yeah.
some might be wondering, what is that topic really? Well, let me preface it
Mm.
by saying
Drum
I
roll.
I know, right? I was working on a study with
Hmm.
educators and how they use artificial intelligence in their instructional design. And
Mm.
what I was looking for was how it was used and their perception of it. What I got in the end completely surprised me.
Wow.
They talked about burnout. They talked
Wow.
about AI supporting them and their professionalism, and also in their personal life, they had more time. And
Mm,
so they were able to overcome burnout with this
mm.
tool. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I have to share this with Augusta.
Have to share. We have to talk about it. We definitely do. It's already the end of the week, and a lot of people are like I just asked you, I asked you how are you doing, and you said you are fine. But some people cannot really say that they are fine at the end of the week. They feel drained, they feel emotionally stressed, emotionally stranded, like they are feeling so, so bad
Yeah.
because of what we are going to be talking
What
about
we're going
today.
to be talking about, we're going to be talking about burnout and
Burnout,
overcoming
yes.
burnout. I
Drum,
remember being a young mom,
drum roll before that.
very much.
Yeah, burn out, burn out. So what is burnout?
Well, I remember being a young mom,
Mm,
and you talked about at the end of the week, some people can't say they are fine. They're
yeah,
just drained.
mm,
Uh,
yeah.
it felt like a draining
Mm-hmm,
day after day after day with two young children, barely 2 years apart in age, and the amount
yeah.
of strain that it took when they had two different sleep cycles, two different
Mm,
rhythms, they wanted two different kinds of foods to eat. They were polar opposites. They
yeah.
still are, but it was draining as a young
Mm,
mother. So people experience burnout in so many
so many
facets.
ways.
So
Yeah,
many facets. I
yeah.
know you're doing your doctoral work, and I pray that
Mm-hmm.
you never have to experience burnout in that space, but that's another place where burnout can occur.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. I have not really started experiencing burnouts because I have a great supervisor and I have a good support system. But I've experienced burnout before. I have experienced burnout. I remember when I was working as a therapist, and I remember then when I just wake up, like when I wake up on a weekday, I take like 10 minutes to cry.
Mm.
Like I just break down on my bed and I cry. Like, that cry that comes from deep within your soul,
Mm.
like sobbing. And in my head, I'm like, am I going to face this again? Am I going to go here again? Am I going there again? What am I? When will this end? And when I get to the office, I realize that because I love what I do. Like, I love what I do. I love being a therapist and all of that. But I realized that when I get to the office, I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm speaking with clients, I'm just like, okay, can this just finish? Let me leave this place because I'm tired. Even before the day starts, I'm already tired. The things that I used to do that I used to love, I just I just can't stand them again. They feel very heavy. You understand? So, burnout, sometimes it's even easy for us to even substitute burnout for depression. Because as a therapist, when we are talking to our clients and probably they are going through a cycle or a phase of depression, and we are like, okay, the first question we ask is, do you find love or do you find interest in those things that used to give you a lot of interest, those things that you used to love doing? Do you still find interest in those things?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how burnout is. At a point, I actually thought probably I'm depressed. But as time went on, I realized that no, I wasn't depressed. It was actually burnout at that time.
That's a
Yeah.
good question to ask to
Mm.
determine if you're experiencing burnout or exhaustion, because do you still find love in the things that you do? Now, going
Mm.
back to my example as a young mom, I
Yeah.
love my children. I love going out
Yeah.
with them. I love taking them to the playground. I love
Yeah.
preparing their meals. I love watching them eat. I love watching them sleep. And so
Mm.
the burnout came from constantly doing the same thing,
Over
putting in
and
all the effort of doing this task without being replenished with rest.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like chronic fatigue,
Yes. Yes. And
chronic
it's
fatigue.
interesting because WHO says that burnout is not just being tired.
Mm.
That's not burnout. Burnout is when you have been stressed and the stress keep piling up without any relief.
Mm.
That's burnout.
And we can think about so many people in their workspaces and in their
Yeah,
workplace that have that kind of experience without relief. So
exactly.
over time,
Mm-hmm.
exhaustion leads to burnout.
Yes,
Yeah. But
exactly.
exhaustion is different. Exhaustion is has an easy fix. It has a remedy called rest. Like
Yes,
deep
exactly.
diving deep down into rest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a temporary condition.
Yeah.
Exhaustion goes away
Thank you for
after rest.
bringing that up.
Right. Think about a teacher
Mm-hmm.
who's been planning late, grading a lot, and then having multiple demands on other areas of their lives, typically can
Mm-hmm.
rebound from exhaustion after a break,
Yes,
after a summer break, after a spring break,
exactly.
sometimes
Exactly.
over a long weekend. So, looking at exhaustion versus burnout, burnout is intense and it does affect the way we do our lives and the way we show up at work and with our friends.
Very true. Thank you very much, Dr. T, for bringing that out about the difference between exhaustion and burnout. Because, sometimes it's easy for us to confuse both of them. You understand? And also, the worst part of that is the fix. So you think you can get a temporary fix for something that needs something that is more long term. Let me give an example. Now, if you are exhausted, all you need is to know what rest feels like for you. Let me give an example about the young mom that you're talking about. A young mom who is exhausted needs some time to recuperate, to rest, and you understand, to get herself back. But when a young mom is burnt out,
Mm.
it needs something totally different. Now, when a young mom is tired, what she just needs is, okay, you are exhausted. What does rest look like for you? Do you need your baby close to you while you are taking a nap? Or you need your baby far away from you so you don't have to, at least given to a trusted person, so you don't have to worry about your baby at that time. And when you do that, you feel alive, you feel rejuvenated, you feel better. But when that young mom is burnt out, it's different.
Yeah.
It now needs a more professional outlook. You now have to take time. You have to have more patience with her. She has to practice a lot of things. You understand? So thank you for bringing out the fact that exhaustion and burnout is two different things and should be handled differently. Yeah.
Right. And in all the spaces that we serve, as a doctoral candidate, a doctoral student,
Yeah.
as a teacher, as a nurse, as a firefighter, whatever spaces that we work in, we have to determine if we're feeling burnout,
Mm,
what to do about it. Because
mm,
we can easily detach and say, I don't care about this anymore.
true.
You have
True.
feelings of ineffectiveness, maybe
Mm-hmm.
wanting to withdraw from
Mm-hmm.
the environment that you serve in,
Yeah.
withdraw from your colleagues. That's when you know that you have been experiencing chronic stress and fatigue that leads to burnout.
Mm-hmm.
So, this
Very
space and this channel exists for this
for now.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
later on, we can share strategies that
Yes,
can be
exactly.
useful for implementing to overcome burnout. And what
Yeah.
about those who are not experiencing burnouts, but you're close to that moment because it
Mm-hmm.
creeps up on you? It takes place over time.
The
It takes,
overtime. That's the key word. Overtime. Overtime. It's not something sudden. And I always say we have to learn how to be patient with ourselves because a lot of things that go on in our mind, especially mental health, especially things that you don't see on your skin, like it's not usually physical, that you can't just see it. You have to be patient with yourself because sometimes it also creeps back because you at a point you feel, oh, I'm okay now, I'm better now, and something can just trigger it and you are like back to the deep blue sea again.
yes,
So you have to be very careful about that. And you know something, it is said that burnout is usually more prevalent in the helping profession.
wow.
Teachers, like you said, mothers,
Nurses,
firefighters, therapists,
yeah,
like I've had it firsthand, so I can tell that feeling when it seems like you are helping everybody, but who is going to come through for you, who is going to help you. And that's one thing that I know therapists usually like. It's very, very bad for therapists because you're helping everybody. How do you help yourself?
right.
And it's very important. I will always say, as a therapist, it's important you also have a therapist as a therapist because there are lots and lots of things that you hear that weighs you down, that takes a mental toll on you. How do you recover? How do you find relief? Remember, when we're talking about burnout, it says that it has to do with repeated
Yeah.
stress, repeated stress without relief. So
Mhm.
how do you find relief? Before it gets to burnout, you have to be preventive. You have to ask yourself, what do I do to help myself so it doesn't get to this stage?
Wow,
Yeah.
this is a great space to unpack that. And
Very,
I can think
yeah,
about it
very,
in terms of the education profession where I serve as a consultant
yeah.
and serving teachers in that space.
Mm-hmm.
However, I also remember being a teacher. I
Mm.
also remember feeling as if I could never catch up. Like I could never get all this work done. And then the
Yeah,
moment you have all 150 papers graded, because I taught English, there's
yeah.
more work that comes up on that. So I
Wow.
remember feeling completely exhausted to the point of feeling as if there's no way I can get through this. I was
Mm.
approaching burnout and hadn't recognized it.
Mm.
And then when it got to the space where I thought I can't make a difference anymore, I might as well
Mm.
just stop.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
that feeling came close to a moment of spring break. And I was living for spring break. I started counting down the days for my next break. And in this particular moment, I remember it was 2010. When I went on spring break,
You
I
never
resigned.
came back.
I resigned. I was like, there's no way. I don't know how we do this. It's not for me. I can't. I can't. Well, guess what? It took me 3 years to feel ready again because I had
Wow.
already crashed into burnout. So from
Mm,
2010 to 2013, I had nothing to do with the classroom.
wow.
Nothing to do with the classroom. It's a very spiritual journey too, because I ended up in pharmacy. It's a story I
Mm,
haven't really told anybody about. Yeah, I worked in pharmacy for about 3 years. And then God called me and said, this is not what I want for you. I told you what you need to do.
wow. Wow.
So my calling, my passion, my purpose, where I make the most impact is in education. So if
Wow.
you are working in a space that you know this area of service and helps is for you, then
Mm,
we have to really fight against burnout or overcome burnout if we're already
yeah.
feeling that way.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
have a mandate, we have a mission, there's a reason for which we have been created, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
finding the easy way out. I enjoyed being in
Out.
pharmacy. I enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was very clinical, it was very sterile,
Mm-hmm.
it felt very impersonal, it felt very
Yeah.
fast-paced. When I went home, there was nothing to take home. Nothing to
Yeah.
grade. There's nothing. I mean, it's not even legal to take anything home. There's nothing to do. I'm like, oh, this is
Mm,
living. This is great. I went on trips. I went to Greece. I went to Rome. I had a great time. And it was actually in Rome when God said, I didn't call you in that space.
wow.
You're going
Wow.
back
Wow.
to
Wow.
the education
You're
field.
making me remember my mom. And I come from a very long line of teachers. Like my grandfather was a teacher, my mom is a teacher, but she just retired like last year. My siblings are teachers. Like I have one lecturing in the university and another one in the classroom in secondary school. And I'm like, you know, what
Mm.
I saw my mom go through as a teacher, coming back home, doing all the work, grading. Sometimes we even join her in, like, because in Nigeria it usually is manual. It used to be manual. I don't know about now, but it used to be manual. So then we help her, like, fill her I don't know what they call it, but records. We just fill the records, and sometimes even into the night, you see your mom writing lesson notes, lesson plan, doing this, doing that. And I used to always think, does this never end? Like, it's just going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And I remember before my mom retired, she said,
Mm.
I'm not going to go back to the classroom. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with the classroom, because we were initially saying, okay, when you retire, you could start something small for classroom stuff, teaching and all of that. She was like, I am not going back to the classroom. And it's very familiar for teachers, very, very familiar, because burnout, I think we need to pay special attention to
True.
teachers when it comes to burnout, because
That's
it's
true.
doing because they are doing so much, and they are being overlooked so much.
So on that note,
Yeah,
perhaps our next session should be talking about that niche space of educators and
yeah,
leaders in the educational space, because you're right.
yeah,
You're right. It
mm,
is challenging in that space for
yeah,
teachers for sure. So on
mhm,
that note, if you know a teacher, share this channel. Go ahead and
yes,
subscribe as well. If you know a
mm,
therapist, share this channel. Any area
yeah,
of service requires individuals who understand how to overcome burnout if they're experiencing it, or how to stave it off if they're close to receive or coming into burnout. And our next
mm.
channel, Augusta, our next episode, I think it's going to be on teachers.
Okay, I'm ready for it. I was born ready.
All right. Talk to you real soon.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Don't forget to share, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. See you.
See you.